Some doors are meant to stay closed. Some staircases are meant to stay unfound. Elliot Voss found one anyway, and what he discovered at the bottom was not darkness. It was something far worse. It was the top. Elliot Voss was 36, quietly unremarkable, and perfectly comfortable with that. He worked nights as a security guard at the Aldrin office complex, a gray slab of a building on the edge of a city that had long stopped caring about its own architecture. The job suited him. Empty corridors, humming lights, the occasional distant sound of a pipe settling. He did his rounds, wrote his reports, and drove home before sunrise. 3 months into the job, nothing had ever given him reason to pause. On a night in late November, Elliot pushed open the basement door and stopped walking. The maintenance lockers that had lined the far wall were gone. Not moved, not pushed aside, simply absent, as though they had been edited out of the room. In their place was an opening carved into the concrete, rough-edged, uninvited, and from it descended a staircase of dark gray stone. The steps curved downward and to the left, swallowed almost immediately by a darkness his flashlight couldn't reach the bottom of. Cold air exhaled steadily from the opening, slow and even, like something breathing at rest. Elliot stood at the top and counted what he could see. 20 steps before the beam died. No sound from below. No water, no pipes, no echo. Just a silence with weight to it, pressing lightly against his ears like depth pressure. He logged it. He called his supervisor. He went home and told himself that old buildings surprise you, and morning would make it ordinary. Morning came. No one followed up. When he checked the log 2 days later, his entry was gone. The page intact, the date printed cleanly at the top, and where his handwriting had been, nothing. Just white space. On Thursday night, Elliot went back down. He brought a stronger flashlight, a rope tied to a pipe at the opening, and his phone recording video. He told himself it was due diligence. He told himself someone had to document it properly. These were reasonable things to believe, and he believed none of them. The truth was that the stairwell had been living inside his head for 3 days, and he needed to know what was at the bottom. The steps were cold and dry. The walls were close. Both arms could touch them simultaneously. The air dropped in temperature steadily, not dramatically, but persistently, the way deep earth always feels, like warmth is something the ground has simply forgotten. He counted every step, 20, 60, 100. At 120 steps, he looked back up. The opening above was a small gray rectangle, distant but still there. The rope ran up toward it like proof that the surface still existed. He kept descending. 140 steps. That was when he noticed the walls had changed. The rough stone had given way to smooth poured concrete, the same concrete as the Aldrin basement floor above. And on the wall to his right, half hidden under years of grime, was a small metal plate. He leaned in and read it slowly. Aldrin Office Complex, basement level, maintenance access. Elliot turned around. At the base of the stairwell behind him was a gray metal door, institutional and unremarkable. Beside it, another staircase continued downward, curving left. disappearing into the same lightless dark he had descended into 40 minutes ago. 140 steps underground, and he was standing in the basement he had started from. He climbed back up without running, hand over hand on the rope, counting in reverse, not letting himself think about what the counting meant. He pulled himself through the opening, sat against the wall, and stared at the ceiling until his breathing slowed. He quit the next morning. No explanation given. For 2 weeks, he slept fine. He built a clean, sensible explanation in his mind. A construction loop, a renovation error, disorientation from the cold and the dark. Buildings do strange things. He had been tired. His flashlight had been misleading. He held that explanation tightly, not because he believed it, but because releasing it meant accepting something he had no language for. On a Wednesday night in mid-December, he woke at 3 a.m. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate, descending, somewhere beneath his apartment floor. He lived on the 4th floor of the building with no basement. He lay completely still and listened to someone going deeper, one step at a time, growing fainter, not stopping. He waited for the sound of a bottom landing, a door, anything that meant an end. But he counted his steps now, everywhere, always. It had started as a nervous habit and quietly become something else. A need, a ritual, the only thing that made movement feel safe. He counted from his front door to his car, from his car to the corner shop, up staircases, down hallways, across open car parks in the dark. He was always searching for the number that meant he was far enough from where he had been. He never found it, because sometimes, late at night, standing at the top of an ordinary staircase in an ordinary building, he would look down at the first step, and the cold air would rise to meet him, slow and steady, like something below had been waiting the whole time for him to come back.